Insights with Terri Ep.86, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.86. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.86. Thank you for joining me today. We will be discussing August the 22nd through the 28th, 2022. We have a lot to cover, so I'm going to try to make it as quick as I can to get as much information to you as I can to make your week be as easy and delightful as we can possibly make it. Encourage that happiness. The sun is still in Leo, and that's that fire sign that we've been working with, trying to keep that fire inside of us and maybe inside of others down to a dull roar. That's going to change to Virgo energy on the 24th of this week. Now, that means that we will have an opportunity, maybe before, to be proactive, to clean up things, to get things in order, to organize things. That's what Virgo likes. Doesn't like chaos. Virgo doesn't like chaos at all. And Virgo's going to be with us as well in Mercury, the planet of thinking and processing. That's going to change on the 27th to Libra, but for right now, we'll have it in Mercury, and Mercury is ruled, the ruling planet of Virgo, so we're doubling up there. Now, leading up to that, we have the chance to be proactive. So, organization, clean what I did ahead of time, knowing that on the 24th, this is going to move into Virgo. That will be Wednesday of this week. I will get cranky if things are messy. I will feel overwhelmed. I will feel like I can't keep up. Oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. So I took a few hours for the last couple of days and just did things that bother me. The cobwebs on the porch. Just look around and wash the floor on the porch, wash the furniture. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to go in there and make it perfect, but just attack it. And that way, when Virgo hits, you will feel like you've done something, you're doing something, you're being proactive, and the oh my goshes won't hit you quite as hard. So you'll feel like you are a little ahead of the game instead of drowning. Just a tip. I also do just little things like maybe clean out a drawer that's bugging me or brush up the dogs. I just try to get ahead of it. Getting behind this doesn't feel good at all. Then on the 27th, as I said, of this week, Mercury moves into Libra. Libra likes to be with people, so you'll feel very strange in this arena because Virgo likes to be alone. It isn't an energy that doesn't like people necessarily, but it enjoys its alone time so that it can get things done, get on top of things, not be distracted. Libra, on the other hand, wants people around, wants support, wants partnership, wants to be social. So you're going to be warring with the two types of energy fields. So just be ready for that. If you feel like you want the neighbors over, don't pick up the phone at that exact moment. Maybe give yourself a minute to think about it. Do I, don't I? How is this going to affect me? Do I have the time for this? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but don't be spontaneous with this. Be a little bit more thoughtful, because you may find yourself entertaining when you really need to be alone. Then it becomes one more thing that you've got to get through, although it's very enjoyable, entertaining. So you decide, but give it some thought. Don't be as impulsive as the Leo energy wants you to be. Stay in your Virgo energy. That's going to be really important. And then Venus, the planet of love, beauty, awareness. It's the planet of what we're attracted to. It's the planet of attraction. That's in the sun sign still, which is Leo at this point. So that's that fiery energy. So we will want to feel really good about ourselves. Maybe some people will feel particularly vulnerable during this time, maybe even a little emotional in a way that they're not used to, because of these different energies and because of what we've already talked about with it, which would be that Uranus North Node conjunct Mars that we've just experienced and are experiencing. And if you want, at this point, you can go back to some of the archived podcasts that Charlie O'Brien the amazing Charlie O'Brien has put up for us, so that we can go back in time and maybe, get used to the characters again. So that's a sunny energy. We won't really appreciate constructive criticism, even though it's given with love and affection. If you do have to offer that gift of constructive criticism to somebody, wrap it up as nice as you can. Make it as pretty as you can possibly make it, because this isn't something that's usually well received happily. It is something that's digested later, but at the time it just feels raw. And then Mars. We got a lot to talk about Mars here. I'm going to do a little bit now, and then I'm going to do a little bit later on this, and then through the next few weeks I'll do a little bit on Mars, because Mars retrograde is coming, which is a very unusual event. It'll be Mars retrograde in Gemini, and that's going to go on for off and on. It's wavering for about 2 months, and it, like I said, it hasn't happened in a couple of years, so it's not something that we're terribly used to. We do have Mercury retrogrades 3 or 4 times a year, and those are difficult to get into. Now, Gemini is a planet of communication, so what we have to be very careful of is getting trapped in petty gossip, rumors that go wild, because Gemini really enjoys information and enjoys witty conversation. So anything that's interesting we can get involved in. So we may have to manage what's taking up most of our time. And if it's petty and it's gossip, is it really working? So we may have to try to go on a diet in that area. And we'll be really pushed because of some of the planetary positions to, when I say rumors gone wild, what I mean is conspiracy theories. They're going to really kick up. Actually, I think the Queen of Canada was one of the starters here for conspiracy theories. So it's there, it's prevalent. Don't go down the rabbit hole. I'm not saying don't believe anything, but with Gemini, it's trying to teach us to listen, to really and truly listen. Listen and try not to clash if you can. It's supposed to offer us some better listening skills, which would be to get us out of the equation and listen to the other person. So I'm guilty of it myself. Somebody will say something, tell me a story about their life, and then right away you think, oh, right, that happened to me last week. So then you get into your story of last week, when really this person does need to talk about it and does need to express it, and we have to try during this period to listen as opposed to making I part of the project. So get the ego out of the way, sweep it under the rug, let it sit there for a little bit, and try to develop some really good listening skills. Now, listening skills can be very complicated. It's not just shutting our mouth, it's actually listening. When I interact with the dogs don't talk. Well, they bark, and their barks mean something. This is an alert bark. This is a fearful bark. This is an aggressive bark. This is, I don't know what this is going on, bark. There's whines. There's different moans. There's all kinds of different sounds that the animals give. But there's also a very loud communication for me with animals, and that's body language. So if you've ever kissed anybody, maybe you've gone to kiss them and they turn their head away, or their body goes rock solid, or they just seize up. Maybe if we were aware, we'd stop trying to kiss them and give them space. Now, dogs do that too. Horses do that too. Well, all animals do that. But let's take the dog, for instance, because most of us have cat and dog pets. Cats don't like to be kissed. Well, not all of them. Depends if it suits them. But let's take the dog. If a dog wants to be petted, or doesn't want to be petted, or I want to pet the dog, I will request that gift. So how I say it, it's not with my mouth, may I pet you? Most people just go over and pet the dog. They don't ask permission. If somebody jumped all over me and didn't ask permission, can I hug you? It's so much nicer if somebody says, can I hug you? And then you comply. Oh, yes, please do. Right? But if somebody just grabs you and squeezes your eyeballs out, it's not as quite, it's not the experience that the other person wants you to have, I guess. So you go back to the dogs. I will put my hand down, and the dog knows that I'm asking to pet them. If they're in the mood, I see the body language moving forward or leaning forward, the eyes become open, the ears become up, they're inviting me. Then I can give them a good scratch and a good pet, and we're on the same page. But sometimes they just feel like being alone, so they'll go still. There is no reaction. Then I'll put my hand a little closer to them, not tentatively, with request. It's very different. I'm asking for their consent. If they turn their head sideways, they're avoiding. They're saying, not right now, I'm not in the mood. If I continue to persist, I'm going past their comfort zone. This is where people get bitten. This is where children get bitten. A perfectly lovely dog has said, no, I do not want to be petted, and we say, too bad, and we pet them anyway. So we're not being respectful the way we should be. And so what we're doing is we're going past their comfort zone, forcing our will on them, and we wonder why they, get up and move or whatever. So we have to look at body language. So Gemini is going to give us some amazing insights if we're willing to look at people, body language, communication styles, communication abilities. So we need to go into our conversations with curiosity right now. Not clash, but curiosity. So let's just say that I have some opinions. You probably noticed that. And my opinions, I want to be open, if I can, to another person's opinion and way of viewing things. Now, if I get stuck and locked in my way of thinking, I will never be open to listening and hearing what another person has to say. And Gemini is offering that opportunity to us right now. We are farther apart than we've ever been that I can remember in my time. We need to come closer to each other. We need to interlock. But we can't interlock if we are so opinionated we cannot hear. We don't have to agree, but if we cannot hear the other person's side, excuse me, and that's where curiosity comes in. So instead of ego, we have curiosity. So I find myself during this time asking people lots of questions. And then I don't want to be multitasking with my mind. I want to listen to what their answers are. I want to hear them. I want to be focused on them. I want them to feel heard. So if somebody comes up to me with, and I've asked them, so how do you feel about that? And it's something that I really disagree with. I mean, like, whoa, do I ever disagree with that? Instead of saying that, I may say, I have not thought of it that way. That's very interesting. Can you tell me more? Can you educate me? Now you've made a guard go down, a barrier go down. And they may open up and find you less threatening and maybe tell you something that you didn't know before. Open your eyes maybe in a different way, or maybe just make you more fully entrenched, but at least you were open enough to hear. Then they become more likely, after telling their story, to hear what you have to say. So then it becomes a conversation. And those two judges that really did not, they did not share the same opinions at all, but they were such good friends, really hit me strongly, because I realized then that you can be friends and you don't have to have the same outlook of things, the same way of looking. And that's what our Gemini is going to offer us. So folks, take advantage of this, because this is a really great opportunity to possibly build some bridges for all of us to not be so polarized and to work a little bit more compatibly in certain areas. Now, we've been given a full moon. We're working towards that. We're working in a way that possibly can help us jump over these bridges and maybe make some new bridges and see what everybody's going to be working with and listening and being compassionate. If we think of where that word compassion comes from, it's it's in sympathy to your passion. So that doesn't mean that I can't love a person that doesn't have the same opinion as me. I can be passionate towards them, love them, and come means sympathy. I will sympathize with your passion. I don't have to own it. I don't have to agree with it, but I sympathize. So it's a very powerful word, compassion. And that's what we're going to be working towards as a lot of the planets start coming together. The number that was offered to us for this week is the number 9. And number 9 usually empowers idealism. So it will offer an idealistic approach towards ourselves, towards others, towards our surroundings. Isn't that unique? So sometimes when number 9 comes up, it offers the possibility of a journey. I was just invited to go on a journey, which I would have loved to go in the fall. It's a horse journey on horses. Sadly, it's too stressful for me to leave my animals, but it was fun just thinking about camping with the horses again. So possible journeys. And that journey, if you decide to take it, might even be to the bush with a book, will help you gain experience. Might even help you meet important people to your mission. Doesn't mean that other people think that person's important, but to your mission. There'll be a very high level of mental energy when you combine the number 9 and Mars in Gemini the way it is. So that communicator. We may be more able to handle difficulties and challenges under this sign, under this number 9 combined with Gemini. And we can encourage more devotion to our goals, but we've got to know what our goals are to be devoted to them. So we should have done that work already. And if you haven't done that work, you better get on it, kids. We become more sensitive. And in that sensitivity, there's more courage. So many of us are going to become weepy, vulnerable feeling. We're taking on responsibility. We're feeling things in a way that we never felt them. I find myself tearing up so easy. It's embarrassing. My eyes are leaking all over the place. And that's this energy, the 9 combined with that Gemini. And many of us that are sensitive may have started to feel that already. So it's an awakening. We may not even realize the depth of the wisdom that we possess, or the wisdom that is offering itself to us and will be offered to us with this combination. There's no need here for a high material security. This is more spiritual. Love, truth, friendships, all of that is going to be very, very important. There'll be a strong need to give a lot of ourselves to others. I've been feeling that myself. And I have to confess to you that I feel like a squirrel in a wheel. I had to ask my brother for help because I thought I'm going to fly off of this wheel. I don't know how to slow it down or stop it. And he did mention to me, you better be careful of knowing that strong need to give much to others might be confused with rescuing. So I have to really take a look at that because I do lean on that. So we want it to stay healthy, kids. We want it to stay in a place that's healthy. The weakness of the number 9 combined with Gemini would be a tendency to be delusional. Maybe that's me. But I'm seeing... trying not to judge, right? But I am seeing that with some people when I do ask them for a conversation and I listen to them. I'm trying to be open and I'm trying to be non-judgmental. I'm trying to listen to their words. I'm thinking, oh my God, they're delusional. But maybe it's me. I don't know. But this can make us lean towards being more delusional. And so we have to step back every once in a while and say, it doesn't make any sense. Is this making any sense? And as I said, we could do that emotional thing, but this could be extremely emotional. So be careful of that. We could get moody, and a lot of our reactions could be very, very exaggerated. So be on the lookout there. With that, when you have all of that together, beware of a tendency to emotional stress. Now, we think of stress in our life, nurses, doctors, police people, fire people, just anybody, people that take tickets at airlines. But this is emotional stress, and be wary of mental excesses. I find that at night. I can't stop my mind, and I can't stop my mind, I can't sleep. So we have to be careful of that. So this is supposed to represent fulfilling and closing our cycles, getting ready to advance to the new coming year, to a higher level. We can feel this. We can feel all of this. Just don't let it get out of hand. We're going to have to control it. We need change. We need to progress. But we're going to feel anxious about that. And we're going to feel restless about that. It's human nature. It's human nature to stick with what we have. And it's human nature to not want to let go of things, even if they don't work for us anymore. I know I've got 1,000 pairs of blue jeans that will never fit me again. Or if they do fit me, they're not going to look the way I thought they would look. And I won't let them go. Come on. So if there is no hope of success, we'll quit. So we have to look forward. It's time. If not, we're going to be a drowning man that clutches at the straw. So we've got to be so careful. So this number 9, if we're not careful, can cause a lot of trouble and a lot of confusion. It's not meant to do that, but we can make it. So those vibrations that are very important for growth and spiritual awareness with this number offers us personal awareness and responsibility that comes with that. So that's ours for this week. Okay, kids? That's what we're supposed to be doing. Now, very, very quickly, because I didn't want to make this a really long one, the cards that came up for us, be careful of lack of sleep. It'll be intermittent, but the card of difficulty in sleeping came up. That pairs with what I've just talked about. Some obstacles are going to be in our way, but if you look at the obstacles, a lot of the obstacles are mainly mental. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying our mind makes them or can make them bigger than they need to be or they should be. The card of love, unconditional love, came up, but it came up upside down. So many of us may be caught in giving love but not getting it back. And if we do get it back, we can't feel it. So we have to be careful of that. And the card of change came up. And you know what we just talked about, how humans are afraid of change. I'm right included in that group. So this is also suggesting, and this is a physical card, money, security, comforts, health, body. This is suggesting that we do need to look at embracing change. As scary and radical as it is, we do need to look at that. Whether we like it or not, that's what's going to happen. The beginning of the week in health, we may be more vulnerable in the stomach area, your mucosa, just any of the digestive areas. So just through the whole week, really, pancreas, small intestine, all of that will be very vulnerable. So be very careful the foods that you choose. You'll just have these little silly bouts of nausea. And where did it come from? I was feeling fine a minute ago. And that may entrap us. So just be careful what you eat. Try to eat as calmly as you can. And then there's that additional pressure on our heart, the aorta, our blood pressure, blood circulation. So if you're vulnerable in any of those areas, be very mindful of it, okay? It's just that week that we have this to be worried about. Not worried, that's a bad word. There we go, Gemini already affecting me. Concerned, aware, just be proactive. So that's what we've got for this week, kids. Enjoy the week. It's a good week. We have so much opportunity to do things and to grow and to work with these things. Challenging, absolutely, but it puts us in a very, very different position. I would like to thank Charlie O'Brien again for putting us on all of the places that you get podcasts. He's got us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, SoundCloud, Amazon Music Podcasts, YouTube. If you need the YouTube link because you can't find it, you can email me at Terri, Terri.Coots, Coutts @gmail.com. Or you can Google me and find me, and I can give it to you. Charlie gives it to me, and I try to post it on Facebook each week, the link. Once you subscribe, doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Once you subscribe, it'll keep coming up like a bad odor. All right, so thank you for that, Charlie O'Brien. And if you would like a reading for yourself to find out what you personally are going through, you're welcome to give me a call or text 519-726-6699, or you can email again at Terri, Terri.Coots, Coutts @gmail.com. And we start our classes again for Obedience and Agility Tuesday the 23rd on Tuesday night. That's 6 to 7. If you've got a pooch and you would like to have fun with some really marvelous people, enjoy your dog, enjoy the farm, get outside, get some tired on your kids, your husband, your wife, and the dog, feel free to give me a shout and we can set you up. Alrighty, you have a wonderful week, everybody. Bye for now.
You've been listening to Insights with Terri Coots, and visit her website, terriworld.com, TERRI world.com. And we'll catch you next time